I'm with you, it don't matter where I lay my head tonight. No, it don't matter where I lay my head tonight. That's right.
Black River Revue plays the bluegrass trail across the country. Ceramic artist Melissa Wickwire creates beautiful installations with purpose.
Part of that function in my mind is, does it change the space to feel warm and welcoming and human?
It's just the things that people are like, yeah, I'd like to do that. Those are the types of classes that we're trying to offer.
The Duluth Folk School builds skills one student at a time. Discover these stories and more music in this edition of The Playlist.
Funding for The Playlist is provided by the citizens of Minnesota through the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund. Sound Central and T&E Concert Services are proud to support this music performance on The Playlist and to light up concert venues across the country.
Freshwater bluegrass rolls into the studio tonight, so give a playlist welcome to Black River Revue.
The sun shines high on a windy day. I see all you thinking of him. You're smiling at me, I can't become that man you want me to be. If you don't let me go my own way, if you don't let me go my own way. It's been 5 years and I'm living on my own, and I'm still trying to find my way, and I'm learning to survive. We can find a place, babe, call it a home. Thank our lucky stars we're sitting here alive. We thank our lucky stars we're sitting here alive. So at my window, she's floating on, still searching like a bird who's flying by. And then I know, long as I'm with you, it don't matter where I lay my head tonight. No, it don't matter where I lay my head tonight. That's right. So take me back to that home on the lake. Forget all your promises. Along the way it all flies by. When I think of you, my dear, where you leave me with no other words to say. Yeah, you leave me with no other words to say. So at my window, she's floating on, still searching like a bird who's flying by. And then I know, long as I'm with you, it don't matter where I lay my head tonight. No, it don't matter where I lay my head tonight. So at my window, ships floating on, they're searching like a bird who's flying by. And then I know, long as I'm with you, it don't matter where I lay my head tonight. No, it don't matter where I lay my head tonight. No, it don't matter where I lay my head tonight. No, it don't matter where I lay my head. tonight.
It's kind of hard to imagine exactly what it'll look like this way. I'm mostly trying to figure out what feels, it sounds kind of corny, but what feels right. You just want me to hand them to you then?
Yeah, that'll work.
Yay, one of them's up. I think there are 400-ish.
Oh, that's easy then. What was the last one, like 3,000?
3,300-ish.
3,300, perfect. Yeah, I should be a walk in the park then.
Oh, did I mention they're not totally square?
Yeah, it's because they're made by a human.
Oh, back when I was at my studio and glazing these, I wanted it to look somewhat eroded and have a lot of variation in the glaze. And I like this kind of worn, it almost looks sandblasted. And I thought about sandblasting them, but I don't have a sandblaster. So I experimented with just rubbing some of the glaze off, and I like the way that that looks. Like this, to me, looks like a natural process, like it's worn or eroded. And sometimes when I didn't plan on that from the beginning, but I just often trust that if I keep going, something will work out. One of the really tricky parts about doing handmade tile is the clay has a memory. So like if I just rolled this through a slab roller or rolled it all in one direction, it would want to warp and come back up. And some of that is okay. Some of that is the charm of the handmade. It's all a little bit different, but it still has to fit. So it's that balance between things being totally wild and things fitting and being functional. Part of that function in my mind is, does it change the space to feel warm and welcoming and human? So these tiles are going to be part of a 6-foot wide by 4-foot tall installation that's going above a fireplace in Duluth. And it was kind of an ideal client situation. She just said, I really love your work. This is the space I have. And she gave me a few images of things that she likes that are kind of nature-based. She showed me a photo of how the ice piles up on the lake. I'm sure you've seen that. Just all the light and shadows. This next one has a big tile, this next row.
Okay.
I am very comfortable in my studio with clay and glazes. And then James is the collaborator who makes sure they get up, they stay up, and the details are really important.
In the world of tile, everything is usually very symmetrical, very perfect, straight lines, 90-degree corners, very, very neat and orderly. And so this kind of tile gives a lot more freedom to be creative with it. And the fact that it's not stamped out in a press mold, it's made by hand. It's a lot more forgiving to work with, almost in a sense, just because it's not meant to be perfect. So I think it's actually easier to work with this than with a standard tile. So.
I thought of doing different squares, and again that felt kind of chaotic, so repeating the same squares but moving them around in different ways was kind of like a happy resting place, yet not a completely predictable pattern. And then with the texture, there's a lot of different planes where the light can shine and kind of sparkle like the lake does and sparkle like the ice on the lake. I have thought about the lifespan of these projects, thinking of it as a semi-permanent, permanent piece of artwork in somebody's home, something they interact with every day, several times a day. That's really special, and that does feel really good.
Well, we are at the temporary home of the Duluth Folk School with Brian French, the director and one of the co-founders. Thank you for being on the playlist with us.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here.
So tell me what's happening today.
Okay, so today we have a felting class. This is actually the final day of a 4-class series on felting. And so in this class, we went from just raw wool from the sheep, we have the names of the sheep too, all the way through the process of cleaning the wool, carding the wool, and then starting the whole felting process so that we get to the final 3-dimensional felted piece, whatever that happens to be, because each student is going to do something different, whatever they want.
So how does the folk school decide what kind of classes to offer?
In this community, we have so many people who are dynamite at whatever thing they happen to do, but not everybody's a good teacher. We would prefer that we have a really top-notch instructor, even if they're not a fine artist, even if they're not necessarily at the top of their craft, but if they are able to engage with students and bring out the best in the people who are taking classes, that's what we're looking for. And so finding those people, finding the instructors who have skills, who have experience teaching, or who are able to connect with people, that's what we are looking for. The world that we're in today, when you have a student going through school, they basically have to choose the college track of classes or the non-college track of classes. Now, when I was a student, I was doing, all the classes because that's just what everybody did. And so I had welding and I had sewing. I had sewing like 4 different times. Today, the students don't have that same flexibility. They have to decide, are we going to do it this way or are we going to go that way? And when that happens, a whole other path goes away. And so what's happening right now is we have an entire generation of people who are growing up, coming out of school, and they don't have experience working with their hands. So many of us grew up doing things with our hands or helping our parents in the kitchen or out in the yard or on the farm, and that's less and less happening today. And so if we can give people the experiences that used to be just part of the landscape of growing up, but aren't anymore, if we can help people to learn the things that they would have learned naturally, well, that's what we're trying to do.
So give me an example of some of the classes that you have taught so far.
For instance, we had how to use a chainsaw. We had the July thunderstorm last year, and all of a sudden everybody had a lot of wood, and they knew that chainsaw is the way to go, but either they or their spouse was like, I'm not really comfortable with you using this thing because you don't really know what you're doing. And so we got someone to come in and teach how to use a chainsaw safely or how to make sausage. We had a felting class, we had a knitting class, we've had how to use a circular saw without cutting your hands off. I mean, just a lot of different practical types of skills that people want to learn. We had one class, training you and your best friend. So we had a local musher who has, 30 dogs, and he basically came in and said, here's the deal, your dog, and so he would teach you how to interact with your dog, not just in a, oh, I love you kind of a way, but in a, this is what your dog is actually looking for from you. So, classes like that. We have, what else have we had? How to ferment your own vegetables in a safe way. We've got a canning class that we're working on right now. We had how to brew your own beer, get started home brewing. It's just the things that people are like, yeah, I'd like to do that. Those are the types of classes that we're trying to offer.
Why do you think the time is right now for a folk school in Duluth?
I think the time has been right in Duluth for a long time. So I was in an interview with the director of the folk school up in Grand Marais, and the phrase that has really stuck with me was that every community should have a folk school. And if not a folk school in name, a place where people can learn how to do things. That really resonates, the idea that every community should have a place where people can learn and do with their hands, learn how to play an instrument, learn how to dance, or learn how to cook.
Brian, it is a big plan and a pretty exciting one. So good luck and thank you for taking time with us.
Thank you so much. It's been great to have you here.
Take a step by my kitchen door, think about a song I never sang before. Kick around the ground in a field of leaves, blowing up the wind, blowing through the trees. There ain't a thing I can do about it. There ain't a word I can't say. It's like living in a deep dark dungeon, baby. I don't know why I feel this way. Followed down the path leading to the woods, looking at the land where the white pines stood. All we knew was to cut it down. King in the castle still wears a crown. There ain't a thing I can do about it. There ain't a word I can't say. It's like living in a deep dark dungeon, baby. I don't know why I feel this way. Followed down the path, there's a fork in the trail, either left or right, am I doomed to fail? All I know is my head's up high, make my own damn road before life passes by. There ain't a thing I can do about it. There ain't a word I can't say. It's like living in a deep dark dungeon, baby. I don't know why I feel this way. There ain't a thing I can do about it. There ain't a word I can't say. It's like living in a deep dark dungeon, baby. I don't know why I feel this way. Make my own damn road before life passes by. Make my own damn road before life passes by. Make my own damn road before life passes by. Make my own damn road before life passes by.
Okay, so tell me about this new music that's coming out.
Yeah, we just got done recording an album at Sacred Heart Music Center with the wonderful Mr. Tom Fab Chance. It's a culmination of music we've been writing for the last probably 2 years or something like that, and it's been a lot of fun.
It's pretty exciting to see. Before we get any farther, we better introduce the band, the brothers.
I
Okay,
suppose.
so tell me who is standing here?
Well, over here we had Ian Qualley on bass, Nate Hynum on mandolin, Mr. Tim Lukeb, the man with the plan, on the banjo, and my really good friend John Lamar on drums. And
Adding a drummer is a different thing for you guys,
yeah,
yes?
yeah. We had some songs where we just like, man, this would sound really cool with the drummer, and so called up John because I started in a band with John years ago, a rock and roll band, and so he was kind of the first person I called, and it all worked out. So
It really adds a different vibe.
Yeah.
And what impresses me about this new body of work is that there's a good variety, you know, of tempos, of themes. Was that on purpose? Is that just what you're encountering now?
I think it's just, you know, over the last or the whole time we've been playing, you know, trying not to do the same thing, you know, just play fast or, you know, just play slow or something like that. Like, we're just trying to mix it up and, yeah, just trying to mix things up a little bit. So
you guys have been together for 5 years?
Yeah, roughly
like
5
that?
years, yep.
Yeah, so what do you listen to on your tours? Because you tour, your footprint is way beyond the Twin Ports.
Yeah, we like to travel on Biggie Smalls, yeah, all kinds of like R&B, or we'll listen to Green Sky Bluegrass, or Feeding Leroy, or, you know, just a little bit of everything, actually.
And how did the bluegrass piece get inside you guys?
The Old Brother Where Art Thou soundtrack had a lot to do with it, but at the same time, I grew up listening to the Eagles and country music and stuff like that, and then I heard more contemporary bluegrass bands, and I was like, this is what I want to do. So that it's just became a medium to express ourselves in the way we want to.
And how did you end up meeting each other? Because I mean, you have a great vibe together.
Yeah, it's really weird. A really close childhood friend of mine, through skateboarding, we were all kind of friends, and we were jamming, and he's like, we got to get Nate over here. And Nate played a bass, and I had this electric mandolin. I'm like, dude, take this and learn. And like a week later, he bought his own, and he was in the band. And then we were in between bass players, and we needed a bass player. And he's like, I know a guy, and that's how we met Ian. And then through Ian, we met Tim. And so it's just because Tim and Ian grew up together, and yeah.
It's pretty cool. And where did you grow up?
Right outside of Superior on the Black River, right by Pattison Park.
Is this a hint of where the name comes from?
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah,
totally.
But it's a perfect name for a bluegrass band.
Yeah. It might be cliche, but I don't know. It rings true to me. So.
Yeah. So preference, recording, playing live. Do you like the balance?
I like it both. There's less pressure playing live, I'd say, which is weird. But recording this time, well, actually all the times we recorded, it's been pretty fun. Getting to hang out with just the friends and whatnot, but this time we recorded with Tom Fabchance at Sacred Heart. It was 2 weekends of just drinking whiskey and having fun and laying some songs down, had some friends come and play with us, and so yeah, it was just a really good time.
So how will we keep track of when that new album comes out? How do we catch up with Black River Revue?
BlackRiverRevue.com, Facebook, Instagram, all that fun stuff. But we're thinking it's going to be in the fall. We just kind of want to take our time listening to mixes and just critique ourselves and try to make it the best we can with what we have. So
it sounds great.
Thank you.
Best wishes. Thank you for taking the time.
Thanks for having us. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Cool.
You said we had a strong foundation when the walls were caving in. Roof is flying off, no way to live. No use in patching that hole up above. Water Ricky's pouring in, used to call it love. Rick say we'll come falling down, you build your ass and rock around. Rick say we'll come falling down, you build your ass and rock around. So we could weather out the storm. When the rain came in, you demanded to keep on. Never saw the difference when I looked into your eyes. Thought it was a face I knew not really in the sky. We say we'll come falling down, you build your ass on rock around. We say we'll come falling down, you build your ass on rock won't see me around. I'm finding comfort in the chaos. Look up, I'm low. Struggle getting through to you, and there's one thing you should know. Bricks they will come falling down. You build your ass on rock ground. Them bricks they will come falling down. Build your ass on rock ground. Well, them bricks they will come falling down. You build your ass on rock ground. Them bricks they will come falling down. You build your ass on rock ground. Bricks they will come falling down.